If you're looking for an adventure during winter, spring, or summer, today's video will be perfect for you. We'll be talking about 3 different hikes that you can do throughout each season. If you're interested in any of that, keep on watching. Welcome back. This is Tierra Querida. The winter hike that I encourage you to do is Franklin Falls. It is about an hour from Seattle, and the trail itself is 2 miles, but due to the parking being closed because of the snow, it actually ends up being 4 miles. You'll have to park at the Denny Creek Road. It will take 2 miles from the road to the start of the hike, and then from there, it'll be the other 2 miles that I was talking about, so it'll total be a 4 miles round trip to complete this hike. This hike is fairly easy, even throughout the winter. It only has a 354 feet of elevation gain, and it is pet friendly. You will also need to pay the parking fee, or if you have a Northwest Forest parking trail pass, then you can just use that. Make sure you put it on your dashboard where if someone's tracking for it, they can easily see it. Because you are doing this hike in the winter, I want to make sure that you are taking waterproof and warm layers so you're not freezing throughout your hike. Be aware that there may be avalanches happening, so always make sure that you are telling someone that you trust, that they would know whether or not you are missing. Hopefully it doesn't have to come to that, but it's always better to play it safe and let someone know where you are going. When you arrive to the end of the trail, please be careful and watch where you're stepping, because there is a lot of water underneath and the snow may be still pretty fresh, or it's just melting, and you want to be careful where you are stepping. But once you get there, it's so beautiful. You can see the waterfall that's all frozen up, and it's just really, really neat. I did this one a while back, and I definitely didn't take enough food. It felt longer than it really was, but it was really cool. And just, I would recommend for anyone to do it as an introductory winter hike. For this hike, I would take a small backpack like this Osprey backpack that I have here, and just make sure I have enough water and high protein foods and fruits as well. For your spring hike, I encourage you to go to Little Mashel. It's about an hour and a half from Seattle, so it's not super far and can be a quick, easy hike, or, of course, depending on how much of an active person you are. This hike is 5 miles round trip, and it has 649 feet of elevation gain, so it's not super terrible, but it just kind of depends on how active you are and how quickly you want to finish this hike, because you can reach the middle fall and you don't have to go down to the lower fall or the higher upper fall. So it's just a preference on whether or not you want to visit all 3 or just the middle fall, which is personally the most impressive fall. The reason why I say it's the most impressive fall is because you can go behind the waterfall, and I encourage you to bring some waterproof gear, if you don't want to get wet. But yeah, spring is perfect because, there has been a lot of recent rain, and snow is melting, so it'll be just gushing, and it's super cool. This trail is also pet friendly, but make sure you keep them on the leash and you are picking up their number 2s. On average, this hike will take about 2.5 hours to complete, and if you are bringing the little ones, bring extra food and snacks for them, because just like any other human, they get hungry, and it's not fun hiking when you are hungry. There is enough parking, but if you go on the weekends and later, especially later in the afternoon, it will get really packed. So just like any of the other hikes, I always recommend you go early and try to avoid some of the chaos from the afternoon, trying to find parking and just kind of shoveling through between people and stuff. Another tip is to make sure you bring shoes that are waterproof and you don't mind getting dirty, because again, with the recent rainfall, you will come across a lot of puddles, and just it can get really, really muddy. So keep that in mind when you're picking out your shoes. For this hike, you will not need a pass, so you can save yourself a buck or 2 and use that for a afternoon snack on the way home. If you do end up going to just the middle fall, I encourage you to bring a good and delicious lunch meal or breakfast and just sit there and enjoy the waterfall as it's gushing, and just enjoy how beautiful and majestic it is. For your summer hike, I encourage you to go to High Rock Lookout. It is a fire lookout. It was The lookout was removed because it needed some renovations, but it should be back this year. And this hike is 2.5 hours from Seattle, so it's a little bit further than the other two hikes, but I promise you, it is absolutely worth every minute of that drive. This hike will be about 3.2 miles round trip, so it's not super hard or super long, which is perfect for a afternoon hike with some friends and family and your kids and your dog. Like the Little Mashel Fall, for this hike, you do not need a parking pass, which is perfect, so you don't have to worry about that. Because of the 1,350 feet of elevation gain, and on average it takes you about 3 hours to complete, I would say this is a little bit of a more of a moderate to difficult hike, especially if you're not used to going uphill for an extended period of time. If you do this hike in the summer, which is when I prefer to do this hike, I encourage you to do it for a sunrise. The last time that I did it, it was like midsummer, and I left my house, and then I got there by like midnight, and then I slept for 3 hours. Honestly, it kind of sucked, but it was worth it. And then I hiked up to watch the sunrise, and I will post some videos and a link for the trail description, so you guys can get an idea how amazing it is. You are above the clouds, and it is super peaceful. There's not a lot of people that do for sunrise, and if they do, they're fairly quiet and keep to themselves. So it's nice to just sit there and drink a little coffee and snack on something and watch the sunrise. Once you reach the top, you'll be able to see three mountains, which are Mount Rainier, Mount Adams, and Mount St. Helens. And the sun will come up on the Rainier side, which is honestly probably the most beautiful sunrises I have seen. And I love a good sunrise. So there's something just very peaceful and unique about this place. So I encourage you to go. And if you decide to go during the spring, I'm sure it's perfectly fine. There just might be a little bit of snow coverage during this time. If you haven't already found a hiking backpack, I encourage you to get one of these Osprey backpacks. They come in different sizes, and they are perfect for every type of hike that you may complete this season. I really hope you check out these hikes, because they are definitely some of my favorite hikes. I have done some of them quite a few times, especially High Rock. I do that one at least once or twice a year. And if you have any questions about any of the hikes, or if you recommend that I check out any of your favorite hikes, leave them in the comments, and I will try to check them out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Have a good day.